in the class, just remember that if you need any kind of props like padding for head and knees, you can just have it beside you. Have it in ease of grasp for yourself. And we're going to actually start lying on our backs today. So come and lie supine. And we're going to have our knees just open out to the side in what is called a reclined butterfly position. Touching the soles of the feet together. If you need any support underneath knees or thighs here, feel free to do so. Take your hands and just move the flesh of your bum out of the way and maybe just rock a little bit forwards and backwards over your sacrum so that you feel your lower back settle. Take your hands, place your hands underneath your head, lift your head up, and give yourself just a gentle traction stretch. Place the back of your head down, and you might feel now that you've got some extra length or some extra space along the back of your neck. Bring one hand onto either side of your ribs. Let your elbows settle to the ground so that you are completely supported. And then take a moment to soften your gaze. If you would like to close your eyes completely, feel free to do so. And just for a moment, breathing in and out through your nose. So keeping your lips sealed. Making any final adjustments that you need to soften through the shoulders, your lower back. And bringing your awareness to your breath. Perhaps noticing how your ribs are moving underneath your hands as you breathe. Noticing how your ribs are moving on the mat underneath you with each inhale and each exhale. Let your breathing slow down. Take a moment to soften your eyes, soften your forehead, letting the tension around your jaw and your neck and shoulders soften and release. And become aware as you breathe how there is a ripple that travels along your spine, traveling down into your lower back, your sacrum, and your pelvis. And just observing for a moment that our diaphragm, our breathing muscle, connects into the lumbar spine. So as we breathe, there is a natural release and tensioning into the lumbar area, into the vertebra. And observing for a moment that our hip flexor muscles, the iliopsoas, runs up through the pelvis and also connects into the lumbar area. There is a connection between our diaphragm and our hip flexors. There's a connection between our breath and our pelvis. And we're going to take one more deep breath in through our nose. And at the top of your breath, just hold it for a moment. Just really feel the energy, the oxygen in your body, traveling to every cell. And now open your mouth and slowly sigh out. Blinking your eyes open. Slide your hands down the side of your body, underneath your thighs. Help yourself bring your legs all the way back up. And you're going to keep your legs together, squeezing the ankles together, squeezing the knees together. Bring your hands onto your lower belly, onto your pelvis, and start to tilt your hips forwards and backwards. So you're coming into an imprint of the lower spine, and then releasing again, so you return to that little hollow underneath your lower back. And as you continue this rocking action with your pelvis, notice again the ripple, the wave, moving along your spine, past your ribs. And this time, notice the ripple coming up into your neck and your head. Do you notice that there's a natural response, a movement of your upper body as you move your pelvis? Everything is connected. Every movement of your body, and in fact, every breath is going to have a response, an effect throughout your body. Allow your pelvis just to settle, and then walk your feet just a little bit apart so that they are hip distance. Bring your hands beside you. You can have palms down or palms up. And now tilt your pelvis and then continue rolling up into your bridge. So just come halfway up for a moment so that you really feel the back of the pelvis engaging, gluteals and hamstrings. And then roll down through your spine, feeling that little imprint and releasing at the bottom. And we're going to repeat that movement, a little bit of a tilt, rolling up through a pelvic curl, coming into your bridge. Pause at the top, and this time, notice how there's an opening at the front of your hips, at the front of the pelvis. And then work down through your spine. We're going to do two more, just like this. Tilting hips, rolling up, finding that balance at the top. Hips are open, gluteals are working. Roll through your spine and release. We're going to take one more time. Tilting hips, rolling up. Now pause at the top here. Take your hands and lightly cup your bum cheeks. Start to push a little bit onto the right foot. Feel the right bum wake up. And then alternate and push a little bit onto the left foot. Feel the left bum wake up. Now keep alternating. And this is literally as if you are walking on the spot. So alternating right, left. And can you feel how your gluteus maximus is firing up underneath you? So a lot of the time, our bum cheeks don't like to work, especially because we are sitting so much nowadays. The bum cheeks have basically become inhibited, which means that a lot of us overwork the hip flexors, we overwork the hamstrings, we overwork the lower back. So give your brain and your body an opportunity right now as you walk on the spot to wake up, to fire up those gluteals again. Stand evenly on both your legs let your arms settle down again. And now you get to ripple down through the spine. Imprint and release. Stay here for a moment. Just allow your body to absorb that information. Notice the effect. And now have your right knee in towards your chest. Notice when you bring your knee in that there's a natural tilting of the pelvis and an imprinting of the lower back. Hold on to your knee, tuck your chin, and now lift your forehead towards your knee so you are rounding your spine and your upper back. Feel how there's that whole curve, that whole release along your back extensor. And then lower your head and shoulders down, creating space, and put your hands behind the right thigh, flexing your foot. On your breath, stretch up, and let's just release the hamstrings a little bit, and releasing the foot back down. And again, exhale, stretch, and release. Let's take 2 more. And 1 more time, standing on the ceiling, and release. Now you're going to bring your knee up to a 90-degree angle, tabletop, and place your hands just on your 2 pelvic bones so you can monitor pelvic lumbar stability. On your breath, tap the right toe down and up. And again, down and up. Keep it going. Really, really simple exercise and movement. But we are targeting the hip flexors at the front of the hip, the iliopsoas. When you tap your foot down, it's eccentric work, and when you bring your leg up, it's concentric. So oftentimes our hip flexors get really tight, but they're not strong. So this is now encouraging the hip flexors to build strength, which is functional for us. 1 more. And now place that foot all the way down to the ground and pause just for a moment. Bring your left leg in towards you. Get that little tilt of the pelvis. Tuck your chin. Bring your forehead towards your knees so you're getting that release all the way along the back of your body. And then lower head and shoulders down. Create a little bit of length along the spine. Slip your hands behind your knee. Flex your foot. And here we go. Exhale and stretch. And release. And again. Energy through the heel of your foot. So one of the reasons why we're wanting to release the hamstrings is just to encourage them to let go so that our gluteus maximus actually has an opportunity to work. Let's do 1 more time. Stretch up and release. Bring your knee up to tabletop. Place your hands on your pelvis. Stay there for a moment to stabilize. And now, tap the toe down and up. Disassociation of the hip. Working from the hip joint itself. So it's very tempting to start straightening and bending the knee. But in fact, the knee joint stays at the same angle, and the work comes from the hip joints. Stay with your breath. It's amazing how the exhale gives you that beautiful connection to the deep abdominal muscles. Last 2. Last 1. You can put your foot all the way down towards the ground. Stay there for a moment. Hands beside you. We're going up into a pelvic curl again. Tilting your hips, rolling moment. Really connect your arms to the floor. Press your hips up a little bit higher and notice how you start to compress the lumbar spine. So as soon as you bring your hips up past that neutral position, you're coming into lumbar extension. And now roll down through the spine again. Take your time so that you really release the lower back. And then return to neutral. And we're going to go again. Tilting pelvis, rolling up. Stop just in a neutral position for a moment so you can feel gluteals connecting. Press arms onto the floor and lift your hips a little bit higher. Just finding that extension of the lumbar spine. See if you can relax the back of your neck and your throat. And then work your way through the lumbar spine again. Imprint and release. We're just going to do one more of these. Tilting hips. Rolling up. A little bit of a squeeze of the gluteals. Pause for a moment. Pressing into the arms. Lifting the pelvis just a little bit higher. Feeling that extension of the lumbar spine. And then rolling through your spine. Imprint. And release. Start to walk your feet even wider on your mat. Take your hands a little bit wider. We're going to have palms down and palms up. Rolling your knees gently from side to side. And I would recommend just starting with a small movement so you can kind of feel out what's happening with your back today. Keeping chest open, shoulders down, using your arms as a little bit of a support on the ground. And then roll both your knees over to the right. Stay there. Turn your head to look over towards the left. Stay there for a moment. Now, as you breathe out, squeeze your left bum cheek. So you're going to push the pelvis a little bit forward. And then relax that left bum cheek again. And again, breathe out as you squeeze the left bum. Can you feel how it opens the hip and intensifies the stretch down the front of the left thigh, the quadricep? And release. And let's just do two more. Using your breath, squeezing the bum cheek. And release. One more time. And a little bit of a squeeze. And for anybody that's tight in that ITB or in the lateral quad, you're probably really going to feel this. And release. Come all the way back through the center. And now roll your knees over towards the left. Turn your head to look the other way. Settle there just for a moment. And here we go. A little bit of a squeeze in the bum cheeks. And a little release. And again, squeeze. And release. Notice on your own body, which side feels tighter. A little bit of a squeeze, or maybe they just feel different. And release. And we're going to do one more time. A little bit of a squeeze. And release. Roll yourself all the way back to center. And this time, stretch your legs all the way out long, squeezing the inner thighs together. Flex your ankles. Place your hands on the shelf of your pelvis. And then start to push the right foot a little bit forward. So you're sliding your legs on the floor. And then push your left foot a little bit forward. Sliding on the floor. And then keep alternating. So again, we are mimicking a walking movement through the pelvis. So can you feel as you stretch one leg away that there is a that your pelvis is doing this lateral flexion. Let's do one more time. And then come back to the center. Squeeze your ankles together to make sure that you're level, and now you can point your toes away. Both hands come straight up to the sky. Start to scissor your arms. So one arm goes back, and one arm comes forward. Scissor. Keeping your elbows as straight as possible. Getting the gliding movements. Scapula gliding up and down the rib cage behind you. Last one. Bring your hands straight up to the ceiling and pause here. Now we're going to do a roll up from here. Keeping your hands where they are. Lift your head to look towards your feet. And then breathe out as you roll all the way forward. Let's go into a long stretch. Roll upright into a sitting position. And then curl tail under and roll yourself back. If you need to put something under your lower back, feel free. If you need to bend your knees, you can. Beautiful. Stop with your hands just above your chest. And again, lift your head and we breathe. So normally, we wouldn't come all the way forward, but today I want you to get stretched through the hamstrings. Roll upright into sitting, and then curl back, and I want you to really feel the hip flexors, the lower abs connecting, and then normally we would take the arms overhead, but today I don't want any momentum. Here we go, one more time. Lift your head, and breathe. Long stretch over. Take an inhale. Roll upright into a sitting position, lifting tall. Now, bend your knees, heels down, bend your elbows, and it's a nappy race to the back of the mat. So, this is walking. Yeah, it's our walking movement. And when you reach the back of your mat, nappy race to the front. So can you feel hip flexors, obliques, all of those muscles that are functional all the way to the front. And then when you reach the front of your mat, back you go. Nappy race. Just halfway back on your mat. And then I think we can stop right there. You can feel it today. Okay, so now lie on your left side. Make a little pillow underneath the arm. And I want you to stretch both your legs out long. So set yourself up. You're going to place fingertips lightly to the ground. And I would like you to flex your ankles for a moment. Connect your underneath oblique. And then on your breath out, just the top leg is going to lift up just a little bit higher than your pelvis. Maybe to the height of your shoulders. And then lower the leg down. As you bring your leg up, remember the bottom oblique is connecting so that there's no movement through the lumbar spine. And lower. We are focusing now on gluteus medius. Also really, really important for pelvic stability. And what you might notice, for anybody that's got really dominant hip flexors at the front, is that your leg might start to travel forward. So sometimes it's very helpful to lie with your back against the wall, so you can monitor where you are. And another lovely cheat for a lot of people is that they roll the top hip bone forward so that it starts to load into their lower back. So just double check those two common cheats for yourself. And we're going to do just one more time. Lift and lower. Now, point your toes. Same thing. You're going to lift and lower. And again, more. So what you might notice is when we had our ankle flexed a few moments ago, it switches on the whole front line of the body. So you might have felt the quadriceps quite strongly. And now that we're pointing the foot and it switches on the back line of the body, you might be able to feel gluteals and this a little bit more, yeah? Let's take 2 more. Keep the lumbar spine supported. Last one, burn, baby burn, I'm feeling this, yes. And releasing it down. Bend both knees up as if you're sitting in a chair. Right arm reaches forward. Let's do 1 thoracic rotation. Lift your arm up, look up, and then start to open up across your chest. Remember that you can let the knees and the hips slide if you need to, and we're just going to stay there for a moment. Keep breathing. Feeling that lovely opening along the front arm line. Taking 1 more breath in, and then exhale and coming all the way back around to the front. Good. You're going to press yourself all the way up. Just come onto your forearm for a moment. Stack your knees. You can just split your feet. And now top arm, right arm goes all the way back. And then let's go into a gentle thread the needle. We're not going to stay there. We're just doing a few more moving back and out. And we're going to thread the needle. 1 more time. Reach. And this time, coming into a thread the needle, make any adjustments you need to so that you can get your forearm resting to the ground, relaxing into the back of your neck. And this is a lovely little variation of our normal thread the needle. Focusing on your breath as you come into that rotation of the spine. Taking 1 more inhale and exhale. And then unfold, come all the way up. And now press yourself up. Swing your feet around to the front. So we're sitting horizontally. See if you can lift your legs up. And then hands in front of your knees. Lengthen your spine so you're sitting up nice and tall. So you might already feel that the hip flexors are squeezing. Make sure that the ankles are lined up. And then if you would like to challenge, perhaps you can take the arms away. So as soon as you take the arms forward, can you feel TFL, hip flexors, lower abs, everything having to work? And then place your feet down, spin your legs around to the other side. Come and lie flat. Extend your legs out. Light on the fingertips, chin up. Flex your ankles to begin with. And then lifting the top leg. So we're doing sideline gluteals. And lower the leg down. As you bring your leg up, remember to connect the underneath oblique. And release. Check your alignment for yourself. Make sure that you're not hinging that leg forward. So you want to find that balance of the opening at the front of the hip with an engaging at the back of the hip so that you can find that long straight line of your body. Ankles flex for 2 more. Notice how the quadriceps are engaging here. 1 more. And release it down. Now, point your feet away from you, and we go for another set of 8. Lift and lower. So already your brain is probably recognizing those little gluteal muscles. But does it feel any different to you with your connections between pointing the ankles and flexing the ankles? Halfway there. Keep the control. Underneath obliques supporting you. Beautiful. Last 3. And it doesn't have to be a high lift, it has to be a precise lift. 2 more. 1 more time. And release. Bend both knees up, sitting in a chair. Left arm reaches forward, 1 thoracic rotation. The arm look up. Open up across the chest, the shoulders, oh my goodness. Stay there for a few breaths. Get yourself into a position that feels good for you. We don't all have to look the same here. Take an inhale, and then exhale, coming all the way back around, and relax. Press yourself up so you can come onto your forearm, knees overlapping, splitting your feet, and now reach back. And coming into a thread the needle. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more time, breathing in. And this time, settling that forearm down, making any adjustments that you need, relaxing into the back of your neck. Nice, easy breathing. And in your own time, unwind, coming all the way up and relax. Press yourself up. We want to keep it nice and even, so we're going to come once again into our teaser press sit. So hand supporting you as you lengthen up through your spine. You could challenge yourself if you wanted to by lifting the feet up. So again, that's going to load the hip flexors a little bit more because as we strengthen the legs, it switches on the quadriceps too. Arms reaching out, long spine, take a breath in, and then releasing feet all the way down. Good. Come onto all fours. So get your wrists in a comfortable place, spreading your fingers out, taking your right leg, stretch it back, and then lift your right leg up without collapsing into the lumbar spine. Flex your foot, holding it here so there's energy through the heel of your foot, squeezing the quadriceps. You are waking up the back line of the body, and more importantly, can you feel gluteus maximus kicking in? Point your toe round your spine, draw knee to nose. Stretch back, flex the heel away. Point your toe, knee to nose, round. And extend, flex. 2 more. And reach, flex 1 more time, round. Extend, hold it here. And now you're going to give me a little bit of external rotation like a ballerina without twisting your pelvis, and then bring the leg back to parallel. And again, external rotation, and back to parallel. 2 more times. So this is going to wake up the gluteus maximus just a little bit more, because glute max is also an external hip rotator. 1 more time. Little external rotation. Come back to center. Point your toe. Bring your knees in. Sit back for a moment in a resting position. Taking all the pressure off your wrists. Maybe you want to wiggle out your wrists and your hands and fingers a little bit. But just take an opportunity to notice, how does the right side of your body feel at the moment? And then on your next breath, draw yourself back onto all fours. Lengthen spine, and now we're going to do the left leg. Left leg extends back. Lift your leg up without dropping the lower back, so it's not a very high lift. And then flex your foot, energy through the heel. Take this opportunity just to feel the connections. And now, point your toes round your spine, knee to nose. Lengthen and press energy out through the heel of your foot. And again, point. Round your spine, feeling the abdominals connect. Stretch, flex. Two more, and round the spine. Notice how the hip flexors are working with the abdominals when you round the spine. Last one. Point, round the spine, stretch all the way back, and flex your foot. Now stay here. External rotation from the hip, and then bring yourself back to parallel. External rotation. So it's generally not a huge movement unless you're a professional dancer or have crazy turnouts. External, and release one more time. A little bit of external, and release. Point your toe, bring your knee in, and once again, sit back into resting position. Just taking a moment to relax your upper body. Feel the connections. Notice the muscles that have been engaging and releasing. And on your next breath, bring yourself all the way up onto all fours once again. Now, take your right leg, stretch it back, lift that right leg up, and you're going to step your foot to the outside of your right hand and step back again. And again, step your foot forward. So, this exercise, this movement, is great because we are engaging the hip flexors, but we're also working on the range of the hip. Last two. And now, one more time. Step your foot to the outside of your hand and stay there. Give yourself padding under your leg knee if you need, and then walk your hands all the way up. So your legs are going to be fairly wide apart. If it feels weird, then just bring your foot a little closer again. That's absolutely fine as well. From here, abdominals are connected. We do a little bit of a gliding action forwards and backwards. A small range, because we don't want it to come into the lower back. We want to be able to focus it into that front hip. And then bring yourself into your best position for that hip opener and stay there. Your left hand comes down. We inhale, add some tension, and then exhale, release. Good. And again, inhale. And release. Two more. Using your breath. And release. On this last one, lift your arm up and stay here. Do a little bit of a lean over towards the right. So you start to feel a stretch into the TFL, which is also a little muscle at the side, a little bit to the front of the hip. And let's do 5 gentle releases. One more. Come all the way up. Reach forward. Place both hands flat to the ground. And then reach that right leg back. And bring the knee in. We'll go immediately to the left side. Left leg extends back. Lifting the leg up. You step your foot to the outside of the hand. And reach it back. And again, we'll step. And reach. So notice as you do this, if it becomes easier or smoother, or maybe your range improves. Last one. And hold it here. Bringing your hand up, give yourself any props that you may need. Take a moment to focus your eye lines and your balance, and then we do a little bit of a shift, forwards and backwards. Feel free to bring your legs narrower if that feels good for you. Bring yourself into your best position. Right hand comes down. We inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And release. Two more. So this is just a wonderful way to add some tension to the movement. Last one, reach up, pause. Do a little bit of a side bend towards the leg. And then let's add some gentle movement. One more. Come upright. Bringing your hand all the way down, rooting into your hands, stretching your left leg back, and then bringing the knees in. Once again, coming to a resting position. Just taking the opportunity to absorb the movement. Notice the response of your body. And once again, draw yourself up onto all fours. This time, you're going to tuck your toes under and start to hinge your hips backwards. So you're almost pushing away from your hands and then releasing forward. So as you move your hips back, maybe you're going to start to feel a little bit of a stretch around the knuckles of the toes. We're just going to take a few more. Last one. And release. Relax your feet all the way out. Once again, bring yourself into all fours. Right leg stretches back. Lift your leg up and pause here. Flexing the ankle. You lower your toes lightly to the ground and then lift your leg up. You are welcome to take your leg higher, provided that you're not collapsing into the lower back. Lower. And then lift up so you're really focusing on the gluteal squeeze. Two more. One more. Bring your leg halfway down. Sweep your leg around to the right, placing your foot flat to the ground and long spine. So I think you guys know this one. I love this one. Start to move your hips back and forward. So if you are tight at all in the inner thigh, the adductors, this is an amazing release. And we want the adductors to be strong, obviously, because they help us stabilize. And in fact, one of our inner thigh muscles called the pectineus actually helps to extend our legs. So, you know, again, everything around the pelvis is connected. Come halfway back and stop. Round your spine like a cat. Push up onto the tips of your fingers and then roll all the way up and spread your wings wide. Placing your right hand to your leg, left arm reaches, and we're going to come up and over towards the side for that long stretch. Come back to the center, bring both hands up, palms forward, cascade over like a waterfall, abdominals connecting, fingertips to the ground as you walk forward. Lengthen your spine, lift your leg up, sweep your leg around to the back, and bringing your knee in. Left leg extends back, lifting up, hold it here, flexing the foot. Lower your toes lightly to the ground, and as you bring your leg up, you are extending the hip. You can lift the leg higher, provided you don't drop the lower back. Energy through your crown, energy through your heel. Last one. Bring your leg halfway down, sweep your leg around to the side, placing foot flat and roll the outside blade down. Lengthen your spine, and we start to just move a little bit back and a little forward. So explore your range. If you can go all the way back, then by all means sit back. The more that you can keep your spine lengthened, the deeper the adductor release will be. Come halfway back, round your spine, push to your fingertips, slide your hands in and come upright. Placing your hand to your thigh, right arm comes up, one long sideways stretch. Come back to the center, reach, arms up, cascade forward. Walking hands away, lengthening spine, lifting your leg, sweep your leg around behind you, and bringing that knee all the way in. Tucking your toes under, we're going to transition into a downward facing dog. So before we just pop up, cover your knees just up and find a little bit of stability through your joints. Move your hips back, lift your hips halfway up and stay here for a moment. And then start to pedal the heels down. Pedal down one at a time. And then send both heels towards the ground. Guys, it doesn't matter if your legs are straight or not. Have the intention of reaching your heels towards the floor. Stay here and rise onto the balls of your feet as high as you can. And then press the heels down again, reach. Lift your heels. Take a look at your ankles. Make sure that they're not rolling out. And then press the heels down. One more time, rise. Press the heels down, stay for a moment. And then lower your knees. You're not going to drop them, you're going to hover, because control is one of the principles of Pilates. Let your knees release down, relax your feet, and once again, settle yourself back into a resting position where you can take the pressure off your wrists. So, you know what I like to do here as well is bring my hands together in prayer and then bend my elbows and place hands behind your head, which is quite a lovely way to take all the weight off the arms as well. Stay there for just a moment. Reaching both arms out. Draw yourself up onto all fours. You want to be a little bit back from the front edge of your mat. We're going to go into a plank position here. Extending one leg back and tuck the toes onto the ground. Pushing into hands, squeeze the thigh muscle, and then stretching the upper leg back should feel like a piece of cake. Hold it there. We let the knees hinge to the floor, and we lift them up again. Hinge the knees to the floor. Feel how, as you lift your legs up, the quadriceps work. Feel how when you lower the knees down, that the lower abdominals lower. And stretch one more time. Lower the knees down. Pause. Relax your feet out. You have 5 counts to lower yourself to the floor. No face dives allowed. Bend your elbows. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relaxing down. Place your hands just on either side of your shoulders and get your elbows onto the floor as well. Have your legs slightly separated. Rest your head down and then tuck your toes underneath again. I want you to lightly engage gluteals and lower abs so that your pelvis is going to stay anchored. And then see if you can lift up the right thigh and straighten the right knee. And then lower that right knee down again. See if you can do the same thing on the left leg. Stretch, so the trick is to keep the pelvis stable and then lower the knee down. Now see if you can do both legs at the same time. Squeeze. And release. Let's do one more time. Both legs simultaneously. And release. Stay as you are. Hover the tip of your nose and create some energy through your spine. Create some space. Now start to come up into a baby cobra so that your heart is lifting, your 2 little bottom ribs are down, but you still have your pelvis grounded. Now stay here and see if you can straighten your legs. Let your knees come down again. Lower your chest. And hover the tip of your nose. Let's do that again. Lifting up into a baby cobra. Rest going forward. Anchor your pelvis. See if you can squeeze the quadriceps so that your legs extend. Lower your knees. And release. All the way down. Now we're going to add on one more set. Here we go. Lifting up into baby cobra. If your back is hurting, don't come up so high. Straighten your knees and hold. Now can you keep your legs suspended and release your toes to point them out behind you? Can you stay here? Can you hover your arms off the ground? Feel that squeeze of the scapula. Feel the squeeze of the elbows towards your waist and your hips. Taking one more breath in and just let everything come all the way down. Lift your elbows up. Brace yourself up once again and coming into a resting position. Opportunity to breathe. Walking your hands up towards your knees. Bring yourself all the way upright and bring your legs into a parallel alignment right here. Inhale as both arms come all the way up. Connecting the tips of the fingers. And then exhale, just open your arms nice and wide. Finding balance. One more time. Inhale, reach all the way up. This time, interlace your fingers and placing hands just behind your head. So you're going to have your head gently pushing back in towards your hands. Focus your gaze, and we're going to see if we can step the right foot forward. And then we're going to step the right foot back. Hands pressing into the head, left foot, step. And then step back. Keep lifting up through the crown of your head. Now you're just going to keep alternating. And you want to make it as quiet and as smooth as possible. Notice the more that you do it, the easier it becomes. Lifting through your crown, really stand on the foot when you bring it forward. Let's just do a few more. Last one. And release. Sit your hips to your left, moving your ankles to the right. Hold on to your ankle. Let's do one more lateral release. Come all the way up. Swing your feet around to the other side. Hold the outside ankle. Reach up and over. Lateral release. And coming all the way up. Bring your legs out in front of you. So it's going to be like you're sitting on the beach. You're going to cross your right ankle over the left knee and just let that knee drop open and then bring that foot in a little bit. And now you want to push out of your arms and bring yourself into a gluteal stretch. If this is really easy for you, you can bring your foot closer or you can bring your hands in more and really focus on that lengthening. Are you feeling this? Yes. Right gluteal. Woo. And now if you want to, you can add like a little bit of a rocking action. I'm not going for a run. And then center. Slide that foot all the way out. Unfold and give your legs just a little bit of a shake. And then left ankle crosses over. Let that knee open out. Bring that right foot in and then sit yourself up nice and straight. Woo. The side's definitely tighter on me. All right, so we've still done a lot of the Pilates repertoire that we know. I've added a few little tweaks and variations for the ankles, the knees, and the hips. But all we did was we brought awareness to the hip flexors, the hip extensors, the knee flexors, the knee extensors, and then some placement of the ankles and the feet, the knuckles and the toes as well. Right? Do a little rocking action if you need. And release, stretching that leg out, and then unfold, giving your legs just a little bit of a shake. Come a little bit forward to the front of your mats, hands to the front of your knees, a little bit of a ball shape, and let's finish with some rolling. Inhale and exhale. That's it. So think about pulling your bladder away from your thighs to really get that curve into the lower back. There's a few more. One more. Up you come and hold it. Placing your feet down. Sit back just a little bit so that there's no pinching in the hips. Separate your feet a little bit. And then palms up. We inhale, reach all the way up. Connecting fingertips. Exhale, open your arms wide. One more time, we're going to breathe in, reaching up. And as you open your arms this time, let's do flamenco hands. Always feels luxurious. And bringing it all the way down. Awesome. Sam said she's not going for a run after all that.